Hey there, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Local Influencers Podcast. I'm your host, Abel, and today is an exciting day for the podcast because I have my very first business that is outside of the Corpus Christi area, and it is owned by Angie and Theo. They owned a coffee shop in San Antonio, Texas, so they are our neighbors just a couple of hours up north, and they are Clear Light Coffee. Guys, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you very much.
Very excited.
Yeah, so Clear Light Coffee, first of all, I know that you guys are fairly new, if I'm not mistaken, fairly newly opened. I saw on your Instagram, there was some like articles written about you guys. Yes. There's a bunch of hype around you. So that's another reason why I'm excited to have you on. And so I want to start with, how did you all, because starting a business is scary. And a lot of people, especially in the times that we're in, right? Yeah. A lot of people that listen to this podcast are entrepreneurs, creators. And what made you guys say, you know what, let's do this. Let's open up our own coffee shop. Let's do this.
No, I mean, that's a fantastic question. So Clear Light Coffee Co. is actually, we are a multi-venture entrepreneur group. So this is actually our fourth business line that we've opened. Prior to this, we actually already have a provisioning food company. We actually have already been featured in Juan's Bodega, which is a local San Antonio company here with some holistic products that we sold. Theodore has been in the culinary industry for about 10 years here in San Antonio, worked with some of the biggest heavy hitters we have in this local area. I am actually a certified yoga instructor of the Yoga Alliance, a Reiki master, do all that. And then I also own a marketing firm where I work with small mom and pop companies all the way up to Inc. 500s. We decided to combine forces, especially around the pandemic time, like you mentioned, right? It hit a lot of businesses really, really hard. And so we recognized around the pandemic time how there was actually an opportunity to really help embrace the community with our opportunity to open a Clear Light Coffee Co. company here.
Right.
Yes.
No, and our restaurant group is called 143 Group. And that was actually created about 2.5 years ago. Now we have plans to release, like she said, multiple ventures in the food and bev industry, but our coffee shop concept was the first to launch. And we really wanted to base it around kind of like holistic, basically both things that we specialize in. She's in the holistic world, I'm in the food and bev world, and, really quality product driven company, privately owned and operated, mind you, you know what I mean? And the thing is too, it's like, it got to a point where instead of talking about where things should be in the San Antonio restaurant industry or in Texas in general, it got to the point where we're here to show them what it should be. Just because a business is privately owned, privately funded, DIY, even at that, the standard should still be high. And that's what we represent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, that's awesome. I love that. And I love that it's not, because sometimes a lot of I'm guilty. I love supporting local businesses, but I am guilty of, I won't name any coffee shops, but I am guilty of a drive-through coffee, right?
Right.
And I am, it's just convenience, but you don't always get that, like you said, top-notch experience in those shops. They are in and out, and they're like, you're just a face to them. Yeah. You don't get what I like to say in my day job is we create a culture here at this store location or whatever. And so I love that.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, it's not about like having like a super bougie product. It's more so like bringing nutritional value and just quality goods available and normalizing fine foods on a daily basis. That's the thing. Yeah, it's very hard to find like very good daily foods in San Antonio, if you will. It's very like gluttonous, very hit or miss on a lot of places. So we're just trying to normalize that. And there's a couple chefs in town that are actually executing that very well, but it's growing for sure.
And to also answer your question earlier that you had around the entrepreneurs that are listening to this and how did we decide to do this during a pandemic, one of the hardest hit times for small businesses. We've just, like Theodore had mentioned, we've been working on this for a few years here and self-funded. So we've got multiple other jobs that we're doing to actually fund this one. So like I said, we have about 3 different companies that we were able to save up enough to actually launch this from the ground up. And then one small win that we had was right around when Elon Musk started discussing Dogecoin. We actually got a little lucky with Dogecoin there.
Shout out Elon Musk.
Yeah, and that helped to really allow us to launch this how we really wanted to. But like you said, it's not an easy thing to do, and it's been a very it's been a learning experience on a lot of levels to have different businesses and try to maintain one while running multiple things.
Absolutely.
So for our listeners, like I said, we are growing the podcast. Thankfully, we have created a name for ourselves here in Corpus Christi. But for our listeners here in Corpus Christi, I'm sure lots of us have family in San Antonio. We travel there. It's only, my mom says it takes 2 hours. I say it takes an hour. Yeah. We can debate about. We can debate on that all day long. But so for our listeners here in the Coastal Bend, what would you say, like besides, like what you just mentioned, what makes you guys different from another privately owned coffee shop or another, local owned coffee shop? Why go there? What experience or culture can we expect there at your location?
Right. Well, and this is in my personal opinion because, but the numbers are there. Yeah. I can honestly say I've been in this industry for a very long time. Not the coffee industry, but San Antonio's food industry. Now it's more so we're trying to create an experience that's one in itself. The way that we designed our coffee shop in general, from walking in to the natural lighting to everything. Right off top, we're trying to create an experience. And then secondly, we're not putting our face on our product, if you will. Our product is standalone. And we strongly believe in that because there's a lot of people around here, and I'm sure in Corpus you have a couple people that try and sell themselves more than they do their product. And the hype behind something, I like to say it's all hype, no bite. But the hype behind something doesn't necessarily measure up to what the product could be. That time, energy, space can all be driven towards something that could literally enrich the lives of other people. And that's where, and I could speak on Angie's part as well. That's where we actually get a lot of self-worth, and where this makes this worth it is the fact that we know that people that are coming, we're enriching their lives on a daily basis. We're providing something that was void, and it just we bring that all together. I mean, how would you explain?
Yeah, no, I would say yes, the same. We really want to make sure that we're providing a product that brings people back in, right? We want to make sure, number one, the experience is there. If people are taking even 5 to 10 minutes of their day to come into our location, we want to make sure that what they're experiencing, whether it be the flavor palette that we've got with our coffees and teas, whether it be the food that we're providing that same day, or just the atmosphere, that it's worth their time, right? It's the one thing we can't buy back is time. So we want to make sure that they're spending it wisely. And if they're choosing to spend it with us, we want to be giving the best experience.
And on that note, there's a lot of intrinsic value to what we do. Like I said, the experience, we're not trying to dumb things down for our customers. We're trying to make sophistication a normalized kind of thing, something that everybody can enjoy.
Yeah. I love that. And I like it because I traveled to Portland, Oregon, a couple years ago for my birthday, and they literally have blocks and blocks of like boutiques and coffee shops. It's like one after another, and you just like park and you can just like coffee like shop all like I'm addicted to coffee, right? And so like I think I was hyped up on coffee the entire day because I went from shop to shop, and the environment there, they created like what you said, a keyword is like an environment. It was very sophisticated. And then I am also, besides podcasting, I'm also a writer. And so that environment really sparked like my creativity and my energy. It's all about energy as well, right? And so I kind of just from what you guys are explaining. And then I see the background. If you're listening, you have to watch this on YouTube, because you can just see the background is very aesthetically pleasing. It looks very nice, clean, and chic. And I do appreciate that. I don't like a lot of clutter. I don't like when I walk in somewhere and I feel like I need to be in and out because they like, you just want to rush me out, right?
Right.
And so I have to ask, and I should have asked the obvious, how did you guys come up with the name Clear Light Coffee Co?
Great question, Theodore. Take it away.
Well, Clear Light Energy is actually a Buddhist term. And Angie would know a little more about that. But basically, in yoga practice, and correct me if I'm wrong, the state that yoga can get you in is basically clearing your mind, providing like a luminous mind state. Some would say a Buddha mindset. Now, we wanted to incorporate, of course, our branding into the holistic world and pay homage to yoga, self-care, gaining self-awareness, self-growth, because that's what we're all about. So that ties in directly with our space as well, because our space, as you mentioned, is kind of like a wabi-sabi minimalism, free-flowing energy, building off of the building rather than changing it, and highlighting the imperfections of just, of the structure itself, and as something that we can all agree with, like, life on a day-by-day basis isn't perfect. And if you chase perfection, you can drive yourself, mad. But essentially, we're just trying to create a space that's free-flowing and that, allows one to emanate a co-creative space, or, as you said, just like put somebody in a good space where their mind can just be free-flowing and they can just enjoy, whether it be 30 minutes, 10 minutes of just a calm, well-balanced area. And so that Clear Light Coffee Co. kind of like emanates that. That's what it's about. And when we take it to multiple locations, we're always gonna try and bring that into our space and our structure. Absolutely.
And one last thing to add on to that, right? This is also going to be tying into another branch that we're going to have, which is the yoga school, which is going to be related to Clear Light. So it will be like, again, another kind of umbrella of our ventures that we're going to dive into.
It's all about the full circle.
Yeah.
I love that. I thought I was busy.
You are, though. Geez,
you are.
This podcast is over. I am put to shame. No. And so
it's our pleasure. It's our pleasure being here.
We are tired, but that's why we have a coffee company, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
So, okay. All right. So I do go to San Antonio quite often. Like I said before, I do have family there and friends. What are some of your top seller, like coffees or drinks in general? You mentioned teas, and then also like food products. What would you recommend if you had to say maybe top 3 of each?
No, you want me to?
Yeah, well, on the food, absolutely. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. As far as food, with 143 Group provisions, basically on that, it's like holistic. It's based around holistic nutrition. Now, a lot of people incorporate that with like only vegetables or only this. And that's not necessarily how I incorporate it. I incorporate it just with like really properly sourced ingredients. We always use organic ingredients. But for example, this past weekend, I launched an organic kolache because, it's Texas, of course. And yeah, that flew off the shelf. That was really well. We do our in-house croissants. We do our daily breads, that kind of stuff. But I'm also going to veer it into a sandwich menu, stuff like that. And then to basically balance off of our tea menu, which is, and one of my personal favorites is a iced yerba mate, which is basically a very earthy, would you say black tea?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's a yerba, yes. And it's a very clean caffeine.
Yeah.
I don't want to call it high, but it's a very clean, caffeinated feeling.
It's a stimulated, definitely.
It's like a house yerba mate that has lemonade in it as well. And across the street from us is a historical park. So a lot of bikers actually want that because of how it can impact with the caffeine interaction. So that one does well. Dirty chais are another huge seller here, right? Espresso and the chai latte. As the holidays are coming up, we're going to be moving into a bunch of different specialty drinks. And then when it comes to our teas, we've got a white rooibos rose tea, which does really well here. And then just regular, like lattes that
Right.
we've got. Yeah.
The thing is like we try and incorporate like a purist menu for the coffee lovers out there. Like our beans in general from Picacho Roasters out in New Mexico, they're specialty grade Arabica. And I sound like a salesman here, but no, I'm just very serious. Like I strongly believe that, my job is halfway done. Basically, we're just presenting our quality ingredients and letting them speak for themselves. Like our milks are completely organic, our nut milks, so we're really incorporating a very good, like nutritionally balanced cup of joe, if you will, alongside, everything else. And it's gotten a really positive response. I think people, especially coming out of pandemic,
Right.
they appreciate that somebody's in a sense taking care of them, looking out for them, by making something like that readily available.
So to bring it back, we've got lattes, dirty chais, yerba mate, and then a bunch of different specialty food items because he's the head chef as well.
Yeah.
So he has his own line here. And out front, there's also going to be one of our specialty food trucks that we're going to have out there. And there may be an English breakfast coming, possibly.
Yeah.
I'll let you know.
And on that note, we're not allowed to say the word chef during the pandemic because of the restaurant situation. So yeah. I'm just amazing. I'm an amazing cook. We can just say that though. Yeah. Very intuitive.
That is crazy. I'm just thinking, like, as you guys are saying all of this, like kind of like a clean caffeine or clean, like a very healthier version of caffeine. I'm laughing because I was just on vacation in Long Beach and I was walking with my cousins down the block and he was like, hey, I'm gonna take you to this coffee shop. I'm like, oh, cool, because like I'm addicted to coffee. Right. And as we're walking, I see these big banners and it's like iced coffee, and I'm like, oh, cool. And we're getting closer to it and I'm like, hold on, there's something wrong here. And I look around, it's a 7-Eleven banner.
No.
And I look at my cousin and I'm like, I won't even walk in there.
No.
I was like, and he starts laughing. Well, thankfully, it was a locally owned coffee shop right across the street from the 7-Eleven that he was taking me to. I just laughed because, I was like, I am not having convenience store coffee. Like, that is just, we're not doing
That's
that.
where you caught it off there.
When we were first opening, we were going to say, like, coming soon. And then, like, in parentheses put like not Starbucks or something.
But we got a review that said that by someone else. Not Starbucks, a real coffee shop.
Yeah, but I mean Starbucks is Starbucks, yeah. But we are this is an oversaturated market. In San Antonio, I'm sure Corpus, I'm sure a lot of places. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of coffee shops and a lot of chain coffee shops. And that's something that, and for us as consumers, take away everything else, we always supported, like you as well, local shops and we learned a lot from them as far as like consumer experience, things like that. And so the idea behind this is, one of the things that I thrive for is to have a place to pay homage to all those guys. Shout out to Theory Coffee.
Yes.
To all those guys where they can have a place on their off days, chefs included, to come and, have some downtime and get served because we're always serving. So that's, that's something that we take pride in as well. So shout out to 7-Eleven coffee.
Stop.
All right, so this podcast will never air. I'm just kidding. So where exactly? Because San Antonio, it is it's larger than Corpus Christi. I know that you guys have, I think I heard you mention that you may be opening other locations. Is that something that you all are, is that something that you're considering? And is it going to be around like San Antonio, like in general, or do you guys want to branch off? And nothing set in stone, like what are your plans for, Clear Coffee? Like what are your plans?
Well, I mean, the thing that's set in stone. Oh, sorry, go ahead. What was that?
I said Clear Light. I wanted to correct myself because I said Clear Coffee.
I see. No, expansion is set in stone. Where the location hasn't been decided. Definitely, I mean, we love Austin, but.
So, I mean, to answer the question, yeah, we do plan to expand in San Antonio if possible, and then also other states, right? We've got people that we know in the industry in other locations, right? Like Colorado, Austin, all over. And so we're hoping that as we grow, and like you said, not set in stone when or anything, but that is something that we're hoping for to happen in the future. Us being able to branch out and franchise off, if possible. We'll see.
It will happen. Absolutely. But it's just a matter of when. Yeah.
Cool. And so for our listeners, can you give us Now I guess the time is like your address, where about what side of San Antonio are you on, your social media, where can people find and contact you guys?
Yes, absolutely. So our address is 12656 West Avenue, and we're the first building when you turn in across from the
Two Bros Barbecue Market and the Walker Ranch Heritage Park.
Yes.
Okay.
Historic park, beach park.
Yes, trails, beautiful. Come on out and get a coffee.
Come on now.
And then our social media, our Instagram is clearlight_SATX.
And our food provision Instagram is only1_SATX, and that's 143 Group Provisions.
Awesome. Well, thank you all so much. Like, y'all blew my mind with all of this, like this holistic this holistic experience. And like, I am just like, okay, when am I going to San Antonio? Because I need to get out there. As soon as I get 2 days off in a row, I'm spending a day out there, I'm going to stop by and visit you guys.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
For our listeners, if you are in the San Antonio area, please make sure you go and check out Clearlight Coffee. We will have their address, their social media, all of their contact information in the show notes. So for their web social media, all you'll have to do is click the link and it will take you directly to Clearlight Co. That way you can follow them and see what adventures they have going on there. And I do look forward to all of your future endeavors, because it seems like you guys have a lot planned. And so this may not be the last time I have you two on the podcast. Who knows? So, every season, y'all going to be on every season with a new endeavor. So again, thank you guys so much for your time. I am so happy that someone from other than Corpus Christi joined. I love my Corpus Christi people, but it's been my dream to kind of start expanding the podcast. And so you guys were the first San Antonians on the show. So thank you all so much for being here. And for all of my listeners, please, wherever you are listening, head out into your community, do something good, make a positive change, and we will talk next time.